This lesson is a review on how to multiply fractions, and the idea is that you can do this mentally. So we're going to go through some examples of multiplying fractions that results in whole numbers. So the first example, we have 1/3 times 3. Now I'm going to show you a process that we are going to use just to get the idea. We are not going to do this all the time. So I'm going to put the 3 over 1 like we always can. We're going to multiply the tops, but I'm not going to do that answer yet. Multiply the bottoms, not going to do the answer yet. Then I'm going to use the commutative property, which allows us to multiply numbers in any order. So we're going to keep the top the same, 1 times 3. But the bottom I'm going to switch the order and I'm going to put 1 times 3. And then now I'm going to see that 3 over 3 is equal to 1. So I get the answer of 1 times 1, which is 1. Let's do another one. So if I have 1/3 times 12, I'm going to put the 12 over 1 like I always can. I'm going to multiply the tops, 1 times 12. I'm going to multiply the bottoms, 3 times 1. And then I'm going to use that commutative property. So 1 times 12 over 1 times 3. So I switch the order of the bottom numbers. Then I can see that 12 over 3 means 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So I actually get 1 times 4 over 1. So that is 4. Another example, we're going to do 2/3 times 15. So I'm going to put the 15 over 1. I'm going to multiply the tops, and I'm going to multiply the bottoms. With the denominator, I'm going to switch the order of the multiplication using the commutative property. So I get 2 times 15 on top still in the numerator, but on the bottom I'm going to put 1 times 3 because I can multiply in any order. I'm going to see that 15 over 3 is equal to 5. So now, this time I have the 2 still right here, 2 times 5, so my answer is 10. Let's do some more examples. Over here I'm going to have 1/5 times 20. So I'm going to put the 20 over 1, like I always can, multiply the tops, 1 times 20, multiply the bottoms, 5 times 1, use that commutative property, 1 times 20 over 1 times 5, and then I can see that 20 over 5 equals 4. So my answer is 4. Another example, 1/5 times 30. We're going to put that 30 over 1. We're going to multiply the tops, 1 times 30. Multiply the denominators, 5 times 1. Use that commutative property, 1 times 30 over 1 times 5. 30 over 5 is equal to 6. So my answer is 6. And then the last example, 3/5 times 10. I'm going to put that 10 over 1. Then I'm going to multiply the numerators, 3 times 10. Multiply the denominators, 5 times 1. Use the commutative property, 3 times 10 over 1 times 5. And I can see that 10 over 5 is 2. Now don't forget, with this one, we had this 3 here. So we have 3 times 2, so my final answer is 6. So what do I want you to observe? Let's go back here. So I'm going to use this example here. I have a 3 here and a 3 here, and when I used the commutative property, it was 3 over 3. As I said at the beginning of this lesson, I was showing you all of the written out work to get an example of what we're doing, but now we're going to take the shortcut, which is cross simplification. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm going to show the cross simplification. 3 over 3 is 1 over 1. Cross simplification on this next example, we have 12 over 3, so that cross simplifies to be 4 over 1. The bottom one there, 15 over 3 cross simplifies to be 5 over 1. So then, if we look at the other side, 1/5 times 20, the 20 and the 5 cross cancel to be a 4 and a 1. 30 over 5 simplifies to be 6 over 1, and 10 over 5 simplifies to be 2 over 1. So our observation is that when we multiply fractions, we can cross simplify to make the numbers easier to work with. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the beginning steps of a problem that we will do later on, but this will show you why I think it's so helpful for you to be able to cross simplify. So down here I'm just going to show you an example where we are going to solve equations with fractions in them. So I have x plus 3/4 is equal to 7/8. So the denominators that I see are 1, which is under the x, 1, 4, and 8. So the lowest common denominator is equal to 8. Whatever the lowest common denominator is, we're not going to rewrite the fractions, we're going to actually multiply everything in the equation by that lowest common denominator of 8. So, whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other, and that's the properties of equality that we've learned. So we're going to do 8 times x plus 8 times 3/4 is equal to 8 times 7/8. So since I did it to both sides, I still have an equivalent problem here. So the reason I want you to be able to cross simplify, if you look at this example, 8 over 4 will simplify to 2 over 1. And 8 over 8 will simplify to 1 over 1. So if you look at what we will have left in this equation, we will still have this 8x here. Now we will have 2 times 3, so we will have plus 6 equals, and then over on the right hand side we will have 1 times 7, so that's 7. And if you were to have a choice between solving the first equation that I gave you or the second equation I gave you, I believe most of you would choose that second one because it's easier to work with. So that's why we are doing what we are doing.